Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA veteran Ray Lopez. Ray, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Ray, you were supposed to have a fight May 4th against Joe Cason. Why has this fight been canceled?
I think it got canceled because he was injured due to an injury, so...
And they couldn't find you a replacement, or they didn't want to find you a replacement?
I'm not really sure. Maybe they couldn't find me a replacement.
A couple fights ago, because you recently picked up a win, but a couple fights ago you fought Andrei Arlovsky. I wanted to talk a little bit about that fight. How did this fight all come together? Because you've been fighting at 205 pounds and Arlovsky's a heavyweight. How did the fight all come together? Were you pursuing Pro Elite? Did they come find you? How did it all work out?
Well, I went to a King of the Cage event and I was talking to one of the promoters out there, and he said that if I won that fight, that there'd be big opportunities for me. And he told me to televise and stuff, and I said, what do I got to do? And he told me that I pretty much had to just be an all-out brawl for 3 rounds. And I said, well, I'm planning on knocking a guy out in the first round. So he can't take me off that list. And I knocked him out in the first round, and about a week later they called me and said I was the #1 contender for Andrei Arlovsky. So that's how I got that fight.
You've been fighting, throughout the Midwest, Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, you name it, in that area. Did having to travel that far out to Hawaii, did that play a little factor into the fight, or did it not really do too much?
Well, no, it didn't do too much. It was nice. I mean, I enjoyed it.
What was the main factor in that fight? Was it, his size, him being a heavyweight and you being a 205-pounder? Was it his experience? What played the biggest factor in the outcome of the fight?
Well, the day of the weigh-ins, I went out and I was walking on at like maybe 215. And I was like, man, I can't step on the scale at 215. I'll get laughed at. So right before the weigh-ins, I went to the buffet and I just filled my face. Jumped up to 225, and even walking out to the cage, I was very confident. I had no doubt in my mind. And then they shut the cage door, and I looked up, the referee asked me if I was ready, and all I could think to myself was like, man, give me like 10 more minutes. But then it was too late, and I think I was just intimidated by who he was. He was one of the guys that got me started in the fight game,
Yeah.
I've been watching him since I first started, so...
It was strange that night because it had been promoted as, Arlovsky Lopez was going to be the main event, and then all of a sudden, Kendall Grove and Joe Riggs became the main event. Were you told at the weigh-in or the day of that you weren't going to be the main event?
No, I was told about 2 weeks before the fight that I wasn't going to be main event because they got the rematch with Joe Riggs and Kendall Grove.
And this deal with Pro Elite, was this just a one-fight deal, or is it a multi-fight agreement because you came up in weight? Did they have any, negotiation with you, or was it just a one-off with them?
Well, they told me it would be like a 3-fight contract if I won the fight, And since I lost the fight, that they didn't have to give me the other fights. So I lost, so they didn't give me the other fights. It's supposed to be 2 more fights after that.
Some of the organizations that you fought for, XCC, G-Force, I don't think any of those are in business. How difficult has it been for you finding fights? Because it seems like the organizations that you fought in, they're either A, not around, or B, not putting on that many shows.
It's been kind of difficult. I don't know, it's been kind of difficult because the organizations that I did fight for aren't putting fights on anymore, but at the same time, I fought a lot of tough guys out there. So it's hard for me, I guess, to get a fight, I mean, as a professional, I'm 7-2, but the people I've lost to, like Andrei Arlovsky, and my other loss happened in the beginning of my career, and I have a 1-0 contest.
In Michigan, they're not putting on that many pro shows. There's amateur shows, everywhere, but how difficult is it being a Michigan fighter to find fights? Because, like this Joe Cason fight that you were supposed to have, his trainer is the guy putting on the show. They didn't bring you in to win, they brought you in to lose. I mean, how difficult is it, finding fights and finding, good matchups where people are treating you well?
It's difficult because I'm out of Michigan. Like Joe Cason, he's out of a very known gym. A lot of people I fought out of very known gyms. And the gym that I did fight under, they weren't so known. mean, we were, like, I was the only professional in that school. Everybody else was amateurs that just started fighting. We were just up and coming, you know. So, like, when they heard about me that I was professional, they thought I was just going to be, you know, somewhat stepping stone, but, you know, it didn't happen that way for a lot of other people. So, after that, it just kind of got harder for me to get fights.
Where do you train at now?
I train out of a gym in Jenison called Triumph MMA. There's about 4 or 5 other professionals out of that gym, and my trainer is was a professional fighter, Sean Desai.
Do you have a second job, or are you a full-time fighter?
I was a full-time fighter, now I have a second job. I work for a company called Aspen Trees. I cut trees around, like, the power lines and stuff. It's good physical work.
You fought for King of the Cage a couple times. Are you still under contract with them? Is there still, you know, a possibility that we could see you fight for them in the future?
It's possible that I can still fight for them. I never had more than one fight contract with them. It was always like a 1-fight contract.
Right now, are you in any talks with any other organizations? You know, is there any negotiation going on right now to get you a fight? Because I assume that, you know, you were training for this fight May 4th, and it was announced a while, so you had advance. I mean, you must be in pretty decent shape. Is there any possibility maybe going in on short notice somewhere else? Do you have anything, you know, maybe potentially lined up?
Yeah, I was in really good shape. And after that fight got canceled, they called me for like a boxing match right here in my hometown, Holland, and they couldn't find an opponent for me. And then after call, they wanted me to go out to Poland May 12th to fight, but I didn't want to get down to 185. So I didn't take that one. I think me going to 185 would just be hard.
Ray, you know, fighting here in Michigan, like we were saying earlier, there's not a whole lot of opportunity. What exactly is it? Is it regulation? Is it, you know, a lot of money that needs to be put up to put in a pro show? Why do you think that there's not a whole lot of MMA in the pro level going around?
Because I think we don't have a whole lot of professional MMA here, because a lot of promoters that are putting on these shows are garbage. I mean, the ones that were doing it, you know, there were some good ones out here that are putting on shows, but the ones that started it kind of messed it up for a lot of us fighters. And now the ones out here in Michigan are trying to make things better, but the commission is not wanting that to happen.
Every fighter that's fighting on the regional circuit, you know, they want to be in the UFC. Are you one of those fighters? Is that your main goal, or does it really not matter to you just as long as you're fighting, you know, and getting paid and, you know, making a living?
At first, that was my main goal. I really wanted to, you know, become big in the UFC and stuff like that. And now I just fell in love with the sport. Now I just want to keep fighting and, I mean, let it take me where it takes me, you know. It's just, it became, I don't know, part of my life, like, big time. Like a passion now.
Right now, Bellator, they just announced a tournament in the light heavyweight division. Would you be open to going over there and getting into a tournament? Are you a fan of the tournament format, and would that be something that you'd be open to?
I would love to, yes. I mean, if I had the opportunity to go into that tournament, I would love to get into that tournament.
Ray, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank? Anything you want to say to the fans?
Yeah, I want to say thank you for being a fan, and thanks to MI Entertainment and Izzy Quintanilla. And I want to say thanks to my gym for putting in the work that they're putting in to help me get ready for whatever fight comes first, you know?
Right. Ray, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.